In the Vaishnava stage, sadhakas remain totally unconcerned as to who is Purusha and who is Prakriti. Their only desire is to become one with Brahma in the flow of bliss. They do not make a head-splitting analysis regarding fight or non-fight, for they know they will remain absorbed in the cosmic flow of bliss for eternity. This is the true spirit of Vaishnava sadhana. Vishnu means all-pervading, expansive, so the proper etymological meaning of Vaishnava is universalist. Vaishnavite bhava, spiritual stance, can be divided into two stages, lila bhava and nitya bhava. When a sadhaka's mind oscillating among different experiences along the paths of the sanchara and pratisanchara of Brahma and becomes inextricably merged with its panoramic expressions, that condition is called lila bhava, and the sadhaka's blissful feeling is called lilananda. In lila bhava, the sadhaka's entire existences become vibrated with the vibrations of the cosmic dance, causing them to burst out in dance, laughter, tears and song. But in Nityananda there is no such expression as this. Purushottama, the nucleus consciousness, is the supreme source of the countless forms and flows in the emanate during Lila Bhava. But his own stance is Nitya Bhava, eternal and unchangeable, so the Ananda which sadhakas experience when united with him is unchangeable. Eternal stance is called His unchangeable eternal stance is called Nityananda. The difference between the unsullied Shaivite Shaiva Bhava and the Vaishnavate Nityananda is very little. In fact, Nityananda can also be experienced in Nirguna Brahma Bhava. The Shaiva Bhava, here denoted, the non-attributional Bhava. The difference between the Vaishnavate Nityananda and the Shaivite Nirvikalpa Samadhi, trance of indeterminate absorption, is not more than the difference between the original bhava of Purushottama and that of Nirguna Brahma. The attainment of the eternal stance at the altar of Nirguna Brahma is Shaiva Vasta, the highest Shaivite state of realization. In Ananda Marga, there has been a unique blending of the Shakta, Shaiva and Vaishnava systems of spiritual practice. The course of physical and psychic development. The more that unit beings advance towards the Supreme Being, the more their physical and psychic bodies, which are made of macrocosmic stuff, advance from crude to subtle. In the first phase of macrocosmic imagination, the cognitive faculty moves from subtle to crude. One atom or particle comes in closer proximity to another atom or particle. The name of this process is sanchara, and when these particles begin to drift away from each other or become powdered down, thus going beyond the scope of sense perception, it is called the process of pratisanchara. When an object becomes more condensed, it should be understood that the macrocosmic mind stuff is decreasing its intermolecular gaps. This causes an object to gradually come within the periphery of sense perception. When there comes to be a high degree of diversity in the structure of the condensed object, it requires the self-activated psychic factor for its preservation, maintenance and destruction. This psychic entity, the mind, is created as a result of clash due to intermolecular proximity. Thus it can be said that mind emerges as a result of clash within the material structure, but it must not be forgotten that matter is nothing but a condensed state of macrocosmic mind stuff. What we call matter is not crude matter as such, but a metamorphosed form of consciousness. The unit finds its expression through clash. This process of clash causes the psychic atoms to get powdered down and expand to such degree that the mind expands into the universe, transcending the limits of the small eye. This continuous unfoldment and expansion of the mind through constant clash and cohesion is brought about mainly by Prakriti. The unit mind finds natural problems which it must solve, such as procuring food, finding accommodation and rearing children, not to mention simply staying alive. the more difficult these obstacles are, the more scope the mind gets to unfold. The struggle to overcome obstacles is the primary factor in the development of the mind. But there is also a secondary factor. That is the influence of a more developed mind on a less developed mind. Domestic animals such as dogs and cats get ample scope for accelerated development due to their contact with the human mind. The company of human beings often accelerates their progress more than do the natural forces which present them with obstacles to overcome. So, if a dog's mind can develop into a monkey's mind, and a monkey's mind into a human mind, in the normal course of evolution, then a dog that is in constant contact with a human being may experience a tremendous intellectual growth and be reborn as a human being, bypassing the stage of a monkey. Such galloping changes do take place in the process of animate evolution, and comparatively undeveloped creatures, if advantaged with human contact, can establish themselves in human form in a shorter period than can comparatively developed creatures deprived of human contact. When a microcosm reaches a stage of expanded consciousness, having made considerable psychic progress due to natural clashes or due to contact with more developed minds, and is able to control the psychic propensities as opposed to being subservient to them, it is called Manushya, human being. The term Manushya or Manusha means mind preponderant being, preponderant being. With the development of the mind, the physical structure becomes more complex. It can be put in another way. The physical structure grows in complexity in order to serve as a proper vehicle for the expression of a developed mind. When the psychic activities are channelized in different directions or engaged in combating various obstacles, the brain, the medium of the mind, is bound to become more complex. Similarly, undeveloped human beings can make psychic progress due to natural clashes or due to contact with great personalities. The greater the application of psychic energy to a unit being, the more its physical stuff is transformed into mind stuff. This helps in attaining greater psychic expansion, and consequently the greater reflection of cosmic consciousness on the unit mental plate. Unit beings have attained a human body, after evolving from the stage of animality through structures of ever-increasing complexity. So human beings have imbibed experiences from animal lives and not from divine lives. Human psychic development keeps pace with the growing complexity of their physical bodies. Moreover, various new diseases come into existence as destructive forces of that complex physical body. In human society, there are many people whose mentality is somewhere between that of forest primates and that of humans. Some have just evolved from animal life to that point in the process of pratisanshara, while others have reverted to that point from a more developed human level, due to their mean thoughts. If they continue to allow mean thoughts to dominate their minds, they will degenerate to the even cruder stage of inert matter, becoming bricks, stone, or wood. Just as animals have no scope to elevate their thoughts or practice spirituality, similarly human beings who make their minds animal-like through animalistic thinking are unable to pursue spiritual practices. Even after receiving spiritual initiation or receiving an education, they behave like ignorant fools. But those who are by mentality undeveloped human beings, but not animals, will, if they receive initiation, carry on spiritual practices, and will, if they receive education, behave like intelligent people. Spiritual initiation and education will bring about mental development in those who have degenerated to the level of animality, but it will be next to impossible for them to develop spiritually. We must pay more attention to those people who are undeveloped, but who have not entirely lost their human sense. If we fail to elevate them, our social system will be futile. All our education, culture, and civilization will be futile.